What's going on, everybody? It's your man. You know who it is. Actually, like I said before, we're gonna start these like an LA minute, LB minute. For those that don't know, it's the Long Beach minute. It's going to be the New York minute, which I started with my man Mel Jackson out in New York. We're gonna have a PA minute, and wherever we at, we're gonna have a minute where you at to keep you updated on what's going on. So today, what took place today in Long Beach? Me having my regular cup of Java, which is my choice of drink. I was sitting in Long Beach, downtown Long Beach, and just so happened to see two employees, well, revenue officers, which y'all call police officers. Well, that's who they are. They're employees. They're not officers, because officers hold an office. So I was sitting and watching the traffic on a two-way lane, and I just happened to see one cop come the opposite direction and park that way. And I was like, wow. And I'm filming this at the same time, and I know they saw me filming. So what? So as they go into this store, I'm trying to find out where was the emergency at. So boom, I'm still filming this. I see a parking authority guy giving a taxpayer, listen, I don't think y'all hear me, a taxpayer a ticket. I walks over to him with my camera and says, yo dude, why don't you give the police officers a ticket, because they're parking the opposite way. They're not above no law. So he looked at me, smirked and laughed, and then pulled off and said, no, I'm not going to do that. People got to understand that you do not pay for something that you're paying tax dollars for. All of these what we call parking meters are basically privately owned parking, privately owned basically. They rent them to every city, no matter what city you're in. They are basically rented. The question that people need to start asking is, why do I have to pay the parking, and a post office don't pay, the postal service don't pay, the police department don't pay? Those are government officials who have to pay. Study these things. If you're paying tax dollars, you do not have to pay for parking. People need to start asking these questions. Where does the money go from the parking meters? These are the things that people need to know. Second, how in hell can a police officer actually give anybody a ticket without having a uniform on? They don't supposed to do these things, people. I'm telling you. And then please stop calling them officers. This is a challenge to any police officer. They are not officers. Officers are someone who holds an office. And let me just read for you, and look it up in a regular Webster's dictionary, but I'm going to read it from a Black's Law standpoint, a law dictionary for those that's in law. And it says, an officer, one who is lawfully invested with an office. One who is lawfully invested with an office. That's the definition of an office. It don't say police officer, none of this stuff. But it also says an officer is distinguished from the term employee in the greater importance, dignity, and independence of his positions of requirements of oath, bond, more enduring in tenor, and the fact of duties being prescribed by law. So, employee is what they are. We give them the power because of the dumb tube and all these cop TV shows that I'm tired of that they keep putting out there, calling these cats police officers. There is no definition of the term police officer. Officers, period, and anybody who's looking at this and is deep into law know that an officer is one who holds an office. They're not officers. They are employees, which we call them revenue officers. They collect the revenue. This is why they give you these tickets and all these different things. But this is a known fact. Now, this is not Sabir. It's a known fact that they cannot even give out tickets if they don't have their uniform on. People say, well, what is their uniform, Sabir? Their uniform is their hat. Read their rule books. I just got off the phone with a friend of mine in Philadelphia, and we just was joking about it. And I said, yeah, read it. It's in the trunk of their car. Their rule books tell them certain things they can and cannot do. But if they're out of their uniform, how are they going to give me a ticket? Another thing, any unmarked car cannot even give you a ticket. They have to wait for a uniform car to actually give you a ticket. This is deep, people. These are things we need to be worrying about instead of arguing, debating with religions. I care less about your religion. I can care less about your history and your past, about what happened over 5,000 years ago. I'm living in the 21st century where we get harassed every single day by these criminals. And yes, I call the police criminals, and that's what they are. They're just an organized gang. If you don't peep what's going on right now in Wall Street, you better get a grip on it, because this is what's happening. Third, people got to understand the seatbelt law. This seatbelt law has nothing to do with you. The seatbelt law is secondary. How could you tell someone you want to tell them a click it or ticket? Click it or ticket. Why don't you just say, yo, fasten your seatbelt? See, these things are weird. This is what we need to be dealing with constantly every day. And don't think that any attorney is going to tell you this, because they have to get paid off of you. This is what is happening. They're not going to freely give this information to you, but I'm tired of seeing people get in these jams with these bogus people. So we got to start asking a lot of these questions. Police officers are not officers, period. Until next time, with the Long Beach Minute, it's your man Sabir signing off, and I want to say peace. Do your research.